Hello YouTube and welcome back to Cities Skylines and the city of Afonford. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Last time out we were working on that village you see in the distance. That's where we're actually going towards right now. So this is our town, city of Afonford, and you can see that area with loads of trees in it. That is Little Afonford, Baby Afonford, some sort of Afonford. Anyway, that's what we were working on last time. Well, we're going to do something slightly different today. We're not going to be building houses as such. What we're going to be doing is something very environmental. We're going to be planting lots and lots and lots of trees because we're going to start setting up the farmland. We're going to start setting up the rest of the map. It's not going to be something that I do, I complete in this particular video or the next video, but we are going to do that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys stay tuned because this is going to be an episode in which this map actually starts looking very, very much like something that is kind of realistic. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. Let's get on with it. So, where are we going to start? Well, I'm just going to point out a few things for those people who may not have seen the other episodes. We've done this area here, and you can see that the trees look very, well, quite nice actually. We've got a little thicket here. We've got just a tree planted there. A few trees around here along the side of the road. Probably need to work a little bit at this graveyard area. We've got this embankment here that I want to do something to because it doesn't look great at all, and we've got some trees in a little bit of a park here. There's just a lot of nice things in this area. We've got trees properly planted, and then we've got some trees here that look like they were just haphazardly thrown together, and the houses were built and placed around it, and that is what we're going to be focusing on in some places today. So if I zoom out and go over to this area, you can see that we have this area where I've started placing in some farms. Now we're going to continue on that sort of premise. We're going to work on getting the farms in. Of course, this one is going to now, not surprisingly, change how this is going to work, but we're not going to worry about that as such just yet. What I want to do is I want to finish off this little area here with farmland, or with the trees for the farmland, and then start filling some of these areas up with actual trees. And the same thing is going to happen here. So we're going to do this area up to here. So we'll try and get this entire area sort of done in this video. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to go around the entire map and do that all episode after episode after episode. No, I'm going to show you guys how to do this, and then the other episodes will be, or the other time-lapse episode where I get the rest of it done, will be on Patreon for you guys to enjoy if you want to do so, because I don't want to, do this over and over again. Let's get this started though, and what I'm going to do is make sure I have the right tree to start with. So I'm going to go for tree, and I think it's these. Yes, it is. Okay, good. I'm also just going to make sure that I can actually plant. No, that's not quite what I wanted to do. I think maybe. No, okay, apparently it doesn't. Oh no, it does. It's just not quite as. I suppose that spread is all right. Okay, we'll work with that. What I'm also going to do is bring this smaller. It's a bit. I planted a tree somewhere. There. Can I not? Okay, that's as small as it's going to go. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to deal with today for that particular set of trees. So let's go. Let's start having a look at where we want to do things. So let's do this area first, because we could say that this area was farmland along here. In fact, all along here we could have some sort of farmland, maybe a little bit of a forest there, but what we're going to do is we're going to say, sure, there's a farm along here. And I know this is probably not the most exciting and riveting footage, but it's important for a city to look proper. And for a city to look proper, we need these trees. I'm going to run the trees all the way up to here. In theory, anyway. There we go. And anything... no, let's not. Let's stop it right there. Okay. So we've got a line of trees. Now, obviously, these trees will probably change. What I need to do is bring my dynamic resolution down. Might be better for me if I did that. Not that, not that. I planted a tree somewhere. There we go. Back to our trees. Okay, great. So now we have this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to box it in. So I think I'm going to box it in along that line there. That's why I think I'll box it in. But due to the nature of the hill, I'm going to try and follow the contour of the hill a little bit. There we go. So we've given it some sort of... just trying to make sure that it doesn't look too out of place. Perfect. Okay. So that's another area where we're going to have farms. Now the farms aren't going to be huge, of course. So what I'm looking for is I'm probably looking for a farm that opens up like that. And we'll do one that again tends to follow some sort of hill contour. Can I slot one in just there? There we go. Okay, so you can see that it's sort of following the two hills. This one not as much, but we'll see what we can do there. Maybe by there we go. So there's another 2 farms for us. This farm has an odd shape, and that's not a problem because we're going to do something interesting on this farm. Because I'm now going to make this one do that. Now you're probably looking at that and going, well, that doesn't seem to make much sense at all. But it will. It will make sense very, very soon. Looking at the farm sizes, I think those are reasonable sizes for farms. Nothing too big, nothing too small. I am going to potentially stick another farm in here. There. And we'll leave this area, we'll probably do this to it. So almost a squarish farm over here. We've got trees along there, that's absolutely fine. And I will try and do this. I hope this works. Oh, it does. That's good. That's quite good. Okay, good. And so we've got a bunch more trees placed in here, and we've got some potential farmland, as you can see, in this entire area. So we're going to continue up. Now, this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting, because obviously we've got this farmland like this, and I really want to change that. I really want to change how that goes, because it's not very realistic to have farms in that particular fashion. What's more realistic is what I'm about to do. Now, if we were to put a single farm, one single farm in there, that would be extremely realistic. So I am potentially looking at doing that. So we are going to move. So for example, over here, we're going to have this farm move in there, that's farm move in there, that's one move in there, that's one. And that's how these farms are going to all work. It will also, hopefully, then reduce the amount of traffic that flows through all this area. Now, I also wish that there was a way to select what particular vehicles go where. Now, unfortunately, I cannot find... See, I cannot... Actually, hold on. Yes, there is a way. What? There is a way of doing this. I am stupid. Because then, what we can do is we stop these huge trailer ones. But unfortunately, the problem here is that there's no difference between commercial. See, there's no difference here between commercial and industrial. If there was a choice for us to do commercial, I would do small trucks to commercial, to small commercial, and large trucks to industrial, as it were. Right. So let's continue on this. I'm going to make another farm. Let's not waste too much time. Now, have no fear about this. The way the motorway is right now. You don't really have fear anyway about it. But I'm going to be sorting out the motorway and how the motorway runs with these farms very, very soon. So it's not going to be a problem overall as to how that actually pans out. I will then... Now, on this side, we can clearly do something different, but I want to fill some of this area up first. So what I'm going to do is... that. There we go. So that could be another farm. I might make these farms a little bit smaller. Not entirely sure. We'll see. We will see about making farms smaller. There's another farm. How would that look? I think that's a fairly reasonable farm size. And I know not all farms are going to be split with trees, but it's easy for me to put trees in and then work from there. That's another farm. And then we could say that these used to be farms that obviously the motorway and the roads have bought out, but there's still part of the farm that exists. For example, that part of the farm still exists, and then I'm sure this part of the farm could be made to exist too if we really wanted to. Up to there, and then we could say up to the roundabout. That part exists of the farm, and perhaps that part exists of a farm as well. Okay, that's great. I do feel like we could potentially do that with the farms. There, and then like that. That seems reasonable. And then perhaps from this one we that's not quite as good as I was hoping. That's not gone as well as I hoped. Somebody here owns a small farm. There we go. Okay, so we've got some reasonable smaller farms in place around here, and then we've got some larger farms further out. So you could say closer to the town there were smaller farms, and then further out there were much larger farms. Right. Let's see, what else could we... I suppose we should really put some farms around this area too. And certainly from here we could very easily create a farm. Hey look, there's another potential farm area. My line's gone a bit wobbly, but it's okay. Because things will change. Things will of course change. But already, just looking at this, you can start to see a much more realistic setup. I mean, even if I was to just do that, that is far better once we start getting actual farms in. So even if we, if I just run quickly to the village, and imagine out of this village, this whole area had just had farmland. But I think that does look really quite good. So I said I was going to fill up this area. It seems like I might not manage to fill up this entire area in this episode. But what I'm now going to do is the idea of trees. So the way some of our forests work, particularly with the farmland, is that you end up having farms built around forests, and therefore little areas just end up being forested. Now that's not to say that we don't have large forests in places, and certainly I am going to add large forests. Up here I plan to add a rather large forest actually. Somewhere around here I want to put a much larger forest, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some small forests in the... Actually, you know what? If I turn that all into a forest, that entire area, that would look pretty good. And then some farms around this area. Okay, so what's... Alright, change of plan. So what I'm going to do is this entire area is going to end up being a forest. So from here, all that, all the way along there, all the way along there. And in fact, we'll probably go over the motorway as well. So that's going to become our first forest. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm just going to add in a brush and start painting the forest in. So certainly I can now do this like that. And you're probably looking at this and thinking, well, that's a bit slow. And you're right. It is a bit slow, so I'm going to speed this up. There we go. And it's also not quite as, perhaps as dense as you might expect. But don't worry about that. That is going to happen fairly soon. So I'm just painting up this area. Like so. So I made all those for no reason. This area was all going to end up being forest, but it's okay. Hopefully everybody is having a great day. What? I'm wondering, should I leave a single farm here in the middle? In fact, what I could do... Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave those two farms there and there. Like that. And then I'm going to paint this area, this entire area. And you can see some are going to require a different brush strength or something. Wow, sometimes words do not want to come out my mouth properly. In fact, what I'll do is I'll bring this down like this. There you go. So now we have an actual forested area. Now, as I said, it doesn't look very foresty at the moment, and they're all the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of these. And they're just going to fill in the little areas where perhaps we didn't get enough coverage. So you can see here, we do not have enough coverage there. Just pop them in the middle. And they're all the same sort of tree, so that's important as well. There we go, along there, in here, along here. And that's adding quite nicely to the coverage. Now I'm not going to, of course, fill it all up because of frames and because of limitations of the game. But I am going to do something like that. So we now have a whole bunch of trees, as you can see, in a potential forest or part of a forest. And you can see from the motorway, if you look at that, that's quite nice. That is really quite nice from the motorway. And certainly from the country road, if we go down here, there you go. So on one side you could have farms, and on this side you've got a really, really lovely looking forest full of different types of trees. I say different types, really only two types of trees. I'm sure there's a third type somewhere. I want to see what this one looks like if I just do a single. Would that fit in amongst these? I think some of those would. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add some of these in as well. Just a few. There you go. Very simple. Nothing too major on these ones. Just a few here and there. There we go. So now we have one area there. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to add more areas. So, for example, this area here is going to become some sort of trees. There we go. And then I'll go back up and I'll select split trunk. Put those nice leafy broadleaf ones in. And then I'll add some more of these broadleaf ones. And you can see that is very nicely filling up this area, which will also cause a really nice split. Now we've also got this, you can see the pylons that are going through. Well, that's going to be interesting because I'm actually going to do something with those pylons in the middle very, very soon, which is also going to lead into some realism. But that's probably going to be in the next episode. For this episode, I still want to add in some more of these. There we go. Now to add some single ones in. Just click in random places. There we go. Perfect. Gets rid of that one. And you have another little bit of woodland. And that is very, very realistic to how it would be in the UK. So for example, I'm not sure how realistic it is to other places, but certainly in the UK, this is how it would be. So well, that's an Actros. Oh, there we go. So you look over to that side, woodland. Look over to this side, there'll be farmland. And that's going to look really quite cool. We're going to add a few more because I really like trees. So where should we add some? I think we should probably put one in. Let's see. This area looks nice. This small one. No. Let's not do the small one. Let's do this. Look, this side here. Yeah, let's do that. And why there? Because, well, we have a railway now. So the area around the railway has got some lovely trees. This one we're not going to do too dense. Don't have something too dense. And certainly we'll do the same on this side. There we go. Perfect. Swatched a couple of trees that go out of the boundaries. Like that. And then we'll get rid of those two trees there. So we have another little woodland area. And that is essentially how the wooded area or the woodland area in the United Kingdom is going to be. Not so much like this. But to finish this episode off, I am going to fix this area and clean it up. And the way I'm going to clean it up is by, first of all, prepare yourself for a lot of noise. A lot of noise. We're going to demolish this area here. And not too far back. I'll do the rest off camera, but just enough for us to be able to see a visible line. And I think that far back is far enough for us. Okay, that's a visible line on that side. Over here we're going to... what should we do? We'll also do a visible line at the back here. In fact, with the back, this is going to be quite easy. Why do those show up differently? Because we'll just get rid of all of these around here like so. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to add in these trees at single. That will do. And we'll do it from here. Like that. And like that. And now all we have to do is fill it up, as usual. So there we go. Filling it up nicely. And we'll add some of these split trunk ones in as well. And perfect. So now we have another woodland area. And you know what? Just because we can, let's go ahead and do this as well. There. That area can also be some sort of woodland. Like that, and then we'll add some of these. Perfect. So we've got that there, and then on this side we're going to have a few farms. So that's what we're going to do over here. Now let's have a look at this to make sure it does look okay. It's always important to go down to ground level to ensure that things look the way you expect them to look. And I think that is. So you're driving through woodland on both sides, and then that's going to open up to farmland. So this area can then open up to farm. I think that looks pretty good. That's fairly realistic. It does the job quite nicely. So I am going to end this episode here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I'm going to try and figure out how I'm going to take a nice picture of all of this. How do I take a nice picture of this? Perhaps like that. No, not quite like that. That doesn't look too bad. That doesn't look too bad at all. What I am going to do though is bump up my dynamic resolution. Dynamic resolution can go up to 300%. Therefore, the photos will look pretty good. Okay. How do I go faster on this? Nope. Caps lock? Nope. Nope. Okay, well that's okay. There we go. That is the screenshot for the episode. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Cities Skylines and the city of Afonford. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Thumbs up for trees. It's always an important thing, looking after the environment. Also, you can find me and support me on Patreon if you can do so. www.patreon.com/ecgadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. And also, you can find me on social media at ecgadgetlp for both Twitter and Instagram. Next episode, what we are going to do is I'm going to actually set up or look at setting up a few of these farms. So we've done the trees, we've done some trees, we're going to be looking at setting up a few of the actual farms. So it's going to be a really good episode. Hopefully, make sure you guys stay tuned for it. You don't want to miss this one. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you next time in Cities Skylines.